Got no Christmas cat here. Hey, cat. Hey, program note for next week, Christmas week. What days will that be? That'll be Thursday. So I'm going to be here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for sure. And then obviously off on Thursday. And then the 26th, Friday, Boxing Day, the day that you rebox all of your Christmas gifts and take them back to Whole Foods. Just kidding. It's Boxing Day. I don't know what Boxing Day is. I think it's an old British holiday, but I'll be here that day. And anyway, and then of course tomorrow, Friday, is visiting day. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on the topic this week, which is this: uh, how much how much better do we have to get at life? How much more perfect do we need to become before we've achieved what we're here to do? And fascinating question. It seems to me like uh, we all love artists, don't we? We like the sculptors and the painters and the musicians. We really appreciate the artists, but aren't we all really artists to some degree? Life is the art of, it seems, finding our true place. If you were around yesterday, I mentioned a paragraph written by a favorite spiritual author of mine that is so wildly enthusiastic and positive, it makes your head spin. And yet, uh, he's speaking of something called our true place, the place in life where all of our God-given talents, gifts, and abilities are put to maximum use, to optimal capacity, so that um, we do what we're here to do, which is, quote unquote, bring a little bit of heaven on earth. And this is a great art, isn't it? It's we gotta we gotta make a lot of mistakes. We gotta try a lot of things out, and yet, if we've been blessed with being uh, on the planet for a while this time, some lives are very short. But when lives are seen in the overall encyclopedia of our soul's life, the differential between a 10-year life and a 100-year-old life is, it diminishes a little bit. We're here for as long as we're here to learn what we're here to learn, and then we probably leave because we've done what we're here to do. But if we've been around as long as we've been, then hopefully we've gained a skill, a positive artistry in our ability to navigate the veritable currents of life. And a couple of metaphors popped into my head with that. And one is, uh, I get crazy ideas sometimes, and when I do, I call a friend of mine and I say, I've got an idea, and he usually says, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that," because my ideas, what are you going to do? But, one of them is to uh, become a pilot. I probably should start not with commercial jetliners, but those little teeny ones that you learn in. But from what I've gathered, I've got a few friends that are really skilled pilots. And one of the things they do, it seems, is, it sounds rather nauseating, but they take you up pretty high and then they intentionally put you into a spin, not not while you're soloing, but when you're with the instructor. And when you're in a spin, they teach you how to get out of it. And that's an amazing skill to have. And one of the things that I've talked to or I've heard from pilots, I like YouTube shows about learning how to fly, and I would like to do it sometime soon, is that you're just taught to kind of take your hands off the controls, and planes know how to fly. Humans, when they panic, they tend to do exactly the wrong thing. They tend to jam on the controls and they put themselves into um, what's unfortunately called a death spiral. But you learn from a skilled instructor how to get out of those. And isn't that a beautiful thing? And aren't we all kind of learning that metaphorically? And another analogy is, if you're a kayaker or a canoeer and you're going down the river of life, man, you can spend a lot of time paddling upstream. You can spend a lot of time going against the current. And if you paddle improperly, you are paddled properly, that's for sure. And don't we just learn every now and then just to lift up the oars, and dang if the river just won't pick us up and set us aright and begin to move us downstream effectively. And so And yet we have to, we have to work these controls in an intelligent way. There are things we absolutely have to do to get ourselves in alignment. If there's one thing that yoga is, and you know me, I'm a huge proponent of physical yoga. It's getting our body, mind, being in alignment. And that takes work. We have to move our own rudder to a degree, and yet we're self-correcting mechanisms. If we steer against the current for too long, uh, uh, a loving, skillful hand will pick us up and move us in the right direction. And this then is the great adventure of life, isn't it? To know when do we steer harder and when do we just take our hands off the steering wheel. And it's a one day at a time thing. It is a skill, it's an art. And yet life, it seems to me, because we meditate, we're getting skillful moment to moment input, guidance. Our GPS, our internal gut based skill, is giving us moment to moment guidance. It's telling us every moment. It's giving us more and more effective course corrections. It gets to the point where we're just making these slight little turns that are so subtle, and yet it does take our effort to do that. What a wonderful, what a wonderful affair that we are in. And if we've been blessed to be around this long, and we've been on earth this long to learn all that we have, then it simply means there's more to learn. We would have left if there was no more to learn. So this very day, we'll get some wonderful opportunities to get ourselves back in the current of life. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed the topic. Next week, we'll talk about unwrapping our own presence, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Please come.